Welcome to Public Account, where real-life nightmares come alive. Prepare to be haunted by chilling tales of the unknown, drawn from actual events. Lights off, volume up, and remember, these horrors are closer than you think. Subscribe, if you dare.
UFO flight from Arabia to Nigeria. On August 4, 2024, the crew aboard a commercial Boeing 747 flying from Saudi Arabia to Nigeria experienced an encounter that has since captured the attention of aviation experts and UFO enthusiasts alike. The event occurred during a routine night flight, with clear skies offering an expansive view of the heavens. As the aircraft cruised at an altitude of approximately 35,000 feet, the pilots noticed something extraordinary outside their cockpit windows: unidentified flying objects, UFOs, that defied conventional explanations. The sighting began with a series of lights appearing in the night sky. At first, the pilots considered that these lights could be stars, given the clarity of the atmosphere and the brilliance of the celestial bodies visible from their vantage point. However, as they observed the lights more closely, it became evident that they were not stationary like stars. Instead, these objects moved in ways that no known aircraft or satellite could mimic. The UFOs exhibited sudden accelerations, abrupt changes in direction, and movements that seemed to defy the laws of physics as understood by contemporary science. One of the pilots, experienced with night flights and the various phenomena observable at high altitudes, quickly dismissed the idea that these could be stars. The objects moved with an agility and speed that was impossible for celestial bodies. Moreover, the pilots noted that the UFOs could not be detected on the plane's radar, a fact that only added to the mystery. This absence from radar detection ruled out the possibility of conventional aircraft or drones, which would typically appear on the radar screen. As the pilots continued to observe the lights, they considered another possibility. The UFOs might be part of the Starlink satellite network, a series of satellites launched by Elon Musk's SpaceX to provide global internet coverage. The Starlink satellites are often visible in the night sky, forming a string of lights that can be mistaken for a UFO by the uninitiated. However, the pilots quickly discarded this theory as well. The behavior of the objects they observed did not match the known flight patterns of Starlink satellites. Unlike the orderly and predictable movement of satellites in orbit, these UFOs moved erratically, sometimes flying forwards and backwards in rapid succession, a maneuver that no human-made object could perform. The most astonishing aspect of the sighting occurred when the UFOs began to light up in a synchronized pattern. 4 lights would flash simultaneously, creating a display that was both mesmerizing and unnerving. This synchronization suggested a level of coordination that further distanced these objects from any known technology. The pilots, seasoned professionals with thousands of hours of flight experience, were at a loss to explain what they were witnessing. The event was recorded on video, with one of the pilots providing a running commentary on the bizarre behavior of the UFOs. This sighting over the skies of the Middle East is not an isolated incident. Over the years, there have been numerous reports of UFO sightings from commercial aircraft in this region, many of which remain unexplained. In 2018, a similar event was reported by a commercial flight crew flying over the Persian Gulf. The pilots described seeing a cluster of lights moving at an incredible speed, far beyond the capabilities of any known aircraft. These lights, like the ones observed in 2024, performed maneuvers that seemed to defy the laws of aerodynamics, including sharp turns and sudden accelerations. Another notable sighting occurred in 2020 over the Arabian Sea. A commercial airliner en route from Dubai to Mumbai reported seeing a large, disc-shaped object hovering at a high altitude. The object was described as metallic, with lights pulsating around its perimeter. It remained stationary for several minutes before suddenly accelerating away at a speed that left the crew stunned. This incident, like many others in the region, was not picked up on radar, leaving experts baffled as to what the object could have been. The Middle East and West Asia, regions often associated with geopolitical tensions and military activity, have long been hotspots for UFO sightings. Some researchers speculate that the high concentration of military installations and advanced radar systems in these areas might explain why so many sightings occur here. Others suggest that the sightings could be related to secret military technology being tested by regional powers or foreign nations. However, the behaviors exhibited by these UFOs, such as rapid changes in direction, hovering, and synchronized light patterns, do not match the capabilities of any known military aircraft or drone. In addition to reports from commercial pilots, there have been numerous civilian sightings in these regions as well. In 2019, residents of a small town in Oman reported seeing a triangular-shaped object hovering silently in the night sky. The object emitted a low hum and had lights at each corner that flashed intermittently. Witnesses claimed that the object hovered for several minutes before disappearing at an unimaginable speed. Despite multiple reports from different individuals, no official explanation was provided, and the incident remains a mystery. Similarly, in 2021, a group of fishermen off the coast of Bahrain reported seeing a bright, cylindrical object emerging from the water and ascending into the sky. The object reportedly moved with such speed that it was out of sight within seconds. The fishermen, who were experienced seafarers, insisted that what they saw was not a conventional aircraft or marine vehicle. The sighting was widely reported in local newspapers, but was quickly dismissed by authorities as a natural phenomenon, despite the lack of any concrete evidence to support this explanation. These sightings, combined with the August 2024 incident, paint a picture of a region that has become a focal point for unexplained aerial phenomena. While skeptics argue that many of these sightings could be attributed to natural or man-made objects misidentified by witnesses, the consistency of the reports and the credibility of the witnesses suggest that something more extraordinary might be at play. The Boeing 747 pilots who witnessed the UFOs on August 4, 2024, have since submitted their video footage to aviation authorities and UFO research organizations for analysis. While no official explanation has been provided, the incident has reignited the debate about the nature of UFOs and their possible origins. Whether these objects are secret military technology, extraterrestrial in nature, or something else entirely remains an open question. But one thing is clear: the skies over the Middle East and West Asia continue to be a source of mystery and intrigue. Backyard Cryptid, Morehead, KY. On December 19, 2022, a video was uploaded to TikTok by the user Squatchwatch Project, quickly gaining traction among cryptid enthusiasts and curious onlookers alike. The footage, captured by an infrared camera, was taken from a backyard security camera in the quiet town of Morehead, Kentucky. While the town itself is not widely known for strange occurrences, this particular video added it to the growing list of Midwestern locations with unexplained phenomena. The video shows a bipedal humanoid creature, its appearance eerie and unsettling as it slowly shambles across the yard. The creature's figure, highlighted by the infrared camera, appears unnaturally white, standing out starkly against the dark backdrop of the night. As the video progresses, the creature's movement becomes even more curious. It leans forward in a hunched posture, its limbs and head appearing distorted and elongated in a manner that defies human anatomy. The arms, in particular, seem disproportionately long, swinging almost lifelessly by its sides, while its legs bend awkwardly, giving it an unnatural gait. The head is perhaps the most disturbing feature, elongated and misshapen, as if it had been stretched beyond its limits. This distorted figure, combined with the eerie calm of its movements, has led many to speculate about the nature of the creature and its possible origins. Cryptid sightings are not uncommon in the Midwest, with the region being home to numerous legends and reports of mysterious creatures. Morehead, Kentucky, nestled in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, has a rich history of folklore, including tales of strange beasts lurking in the dense forests. The creature captured on video has been compared to various cryptids known to the region, such as the Mothman, the Flatwoods Monster, and even the lesser-known Dover Demon. However, this sighting seems to defy easy categorization, leaving experts and enthusiasts puzzled. In recent years, the proliferation of security cameras and the rise of social media have led to an increase in reported sightings of cryptids, particularly in the Midwest. Homeowners and outdoor enthusiasts have captured footage of creatures that defy explanation: bipedal beings with elongated limbs, strange movements, and appearances that fall outside the realm of known animals. The Morehead sighting is just one of many, but its unique characteristics have sparked widespread interest and debate. Reports of cryptids in the Midwest date back centuries, with Native American legends often referencing strange beings that roamed the forests and hills. These stories were passed down through generations, with settlers later adding their own tales of mysterious encounters. One of the most famous cryptids of the region is the Mothman, a winged creature first reported in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, in the 1960s. While Point Pleasant is located on the eastern edge of the Midwest, reports of similar creatures have surfaced in Ohio, Kentucky, and other nearby states. In addition to the Mothman, the Flatwoods Monster is another cryptid tied to the region. This creature, first reported in Braxton County, West Virginia, in 1952, was described as a towering figure with a spade-shaped head and glowing eyes. While the Flatwoods Monster is often associated with UFO sightings, some believe it to be a cryptid rather than an extraterrestrial being. The creature captured on the Morehead footage shares some similarities with the Flatwoods Monster, particularly in its distorted, elongated appearance. Further north, in Massachusetts, the Dover Demon was reported in 1977, described as a small, humanoid creature with a large head and long, spindly limbs. While this sighting was far from Kentucky, the Dover Demon has been referenced in discussions about the Morehead cryptid due to its similar physical characteristics. However, unlike the Dover Demon, which was reported as being relatively small, the Morehead creature appears to be of average human height, if not slightly taller. In the Midwest, many cryptid sightings are tied to the region's dense forests, vast farmlands, and remote areas where human presence is sparse. This environment provides ample hiding places for creatures that might avoid detection, and it is often in these areas that the most compelling footage is captured. The Morehead footage, taken in a backyard surrounded by trees, fits this pattern, adding to the growing body of evidence that something strange is lurking in the American heartland. Beyond social media and amateur cryptid hunters, the the Morehead sighting has caught the attention of researchers and cryptozoologists. Lauren Coleman, a well-known cryptozoologist and author of numerous books on mysterious creatures, has commented on the video, noting its uniqueness and the difficulty in identifying the creature based on the footage alone. Coleman, who has spent decades studying cryptids, has suggested that the Morehead creature might be a previously unreported cryptid or a variation of an existing one, such as the Mothman or the Dover Demon. Theories about the Morehead creature abound, with some suggesting it could be a misidentified animal, such as a bear with mange or a human in a costume. However, these explanations do not fully account for the creature's unusual proportions and movements. Skeptics argue that the video could be a hoax, with the creature being a cleverly designed prop or a person in a suit. Yet those who have studied the footage closely point out the fluidity of the creature's movements and the lack of any obvious signs of tampering with the video. In addition to the Morehead sighting, other cryptid reports in the Midwest have been caught on security cameras, adding to the growing body of visual evidence. In rural Illinois, for example, a homeowner captured footage of a strange, humanoid figure skulking through their backyard late at night. The figure, much like the Morehead creature, appeared to be bipedal with elongated limbs and a hunched posture. Similarly, in southern Indiana, a trail camera set up by a hunter captured an image of a tall, thin figure standing among the trees, its eyes glowing in the infrared light. These sightings, though varied in location and description, share common elements that suggest a pattern of cryptid activity in the Midwest. The creatures are often described as humanoid, with features that are both familiar and disturbingly alien. They move in ways that are unnatural, almost as if they are struggling to navigate the physical world. And perhaps most unsettlingly, they seem to appear and disappear without a trace, leaving behind only fleeting glimpses caught on camera. As the Morehead footage continues to circulate online, it has sparked renewed interest in the possibility that cryptids are more than just folklore. Whether these creatures are remnants of an ancient species, visitors from another dimension, or simply misidentified animals, their presence in the Midwest has become a topic of serious consideration for those who study the unknown. For the residents of Morehead and other small towns in the region, the possibility that something strange is lurking in the shadows is both a source of fear and fascination. Encountering the ghostly child, a chilling account. In the realm of online paranormal content, few videos capture the imagination and terror of viewers like those shared by Scary and Creepy One. Among their collection, one video stands out, a brief yet deeply unsettling clip that has left many questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. This video, which was edited to focus on the most disturbing segment of a longer compilation, showcases what appears to be a haunting encounter with a ghostly child. The video begins with a point-of-view walkthrough, filmed by an unknown individual who is exploring a dimly lit house. The atmosphere is tense as the camera captures the eerie silence of the home. The viewer is guided through a hallway, with the only light source being the soft glow emanating from distant rooms. The camera's shaky movements suggest that the person holding it is on edge, perhaps aware of the potential for something unsettling to occur. As the camera approaches a bathroom with the lights turned off, the tension escalates. The bathroom is an ordinary space, white tiles, a sink, a bathtub. But in the darkness, it feels foreboding. The camera lingers at the doorway for a moment, capturing the oppressive silence. Then, in a sudden motion, the light is switched on. illuminating the room in a harsh, almost sterile brightness. It is at this moment that the figure of a small child becomes visible. The child appears to be hiding, crouched at floor level behind a cabinet counter. The positioning is odd, as if the child is deliberately trying to stay out of sight, yet is curious enough to peep around the corner. The child's face is partially obscured, but there is something undeniably unsettling about its presence. The moment is brief, just a few seconds, but it is enough to send chills down the spine of anyone watching. As the camera person begins to move towards the child, the tension reaches its peak. The child, seemingly aware of being seen, pulls back out of sight, retreating behind the cabinet. The camera follows, but when it reaches the spot where the child was just moments before, there is nothing there. The space is empty. The child has vanished without a trace, leaving behind only the unnerving question: what did the camera capture? Ghostly children, a haunting phenomenon. The sighting of ghostly children is not a new phenomenon. Throughout history, there have been countless accounts of people encountering apparitions of children, often in places with tragic histories. These sightings are particularly chilling, as they evoke the loss of innocence and the untimely end of young lives. In many cultures, ghostly children are believed to be spirits who have unfinished business or who are seeking comfort in the afterlife. One of the most famous cases of a ghostly child sighting occurred in the late 1800s in England. A family living in an old manor house began to hear the sound of a child crying at night. At first, they dismissed it as the wind or perhaps the creaking of the old house. However, the cries persisted, and soon the family began to see the figure of a young girl, dressed in tattered clothing, wandering the halls. She would appear at the foot of their beds, her eyes wide with fear, before vanishing into thin air. The family eventually learned that a child had died in the house many years earlier, under mysterious circumstances. In more recent times, the advent of video technology has allowed for the capture of these spectral encounters on film. One particularly eerie case involved a family in the United States who were filming their new home for a virtual tour. As they walked through the house, recording each room, they caught sight of a small figure standing in the hallway. The figure appeared to be that of a young boy, dressed in old-fashioned clothing. The family insisted that there were no children in the house at the time, and upon reviewing the footage, they were shocked to see the boy's face clearly visible for a few moments before he disappeared. These types of sightings have been documented in newspapers, books, and online forums, with many people sharing their own encounters with ghostly children. Some believe that these spirits are tied to the locations where they appear, often places with a history of tragedy or loss. Others suggest that these apparitions might be echoes of the past, residual energy that has somehow become imprinted on the environment. Capturing the unseen, the role of technology, the rise of digital media, and the proliferation of cameras in everyday life have led to an increase in the documentation of paranormal phenomena. Ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts often use night vision cameras, infrared sensors, and other high-tech equipment to capture evidence of the supernatural. In many cases, these devices have picked up images and sounds that are difficult to explain: phantom footsteps, disembodied voices, and of course, ghostly figures. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence of a ghostly child was captured in a London pub in the early 2000s. The pub, which had a reputation for being haunted, had installed security cameras to monitor the premises after hours. One night, the cameras recorded what appeared to be a young boy, no older than 8 or 9, walking through the empty bar area. The boy was dressed in clothing from a bygone era, and as he moved, he seemed to fade in and out of visibility. The footage was widely circulated online, sparking debates about its authenticity and the existence of ghosts. Similarly, a woman in Japan captured the image of a ghostly child while visiting an old temple. She had been taking photos of the temple's interior when she noticed something strange in one of the pictures. There in the background was the blurry figure of a child, partially transparent and wearing traditional clothing. The woman was certain that no children had been present at the time, and the image quickly gained attention on paranormal websites. These accounts, combined with the increasing number of videos, like the one shared by a scary and creepy one, suggest that there is more to the world than what we can see with the naked eye. Whether these ghostly children are spirits of the departed, manifestations of residual energy, or something else entirely, they continue to captivate and terrify those who encounter them. Conclusion: the unexplained remains. The video posted by a scary and creepy one is just one example of the countless encounters people have had with ghostly children. While skeptics may argue that such sightings are simply tricks of the light or the result of overactive imaginations, the consistency and frequency of these reports suggest otherwise. The image of a child peering out from behind a cabinet, only to vanish moments later, resonates with the deep-seated human fear of the unknown. As technology continues to advance, it is likely that more evidence of the paranormal will be captured and shared with the world. Whether or not this will bring us closer to understanding these mysterious phenomena remains to be seen. For now, the ghostly child in the bathroom remains an enigma, a fleeting glimpse into a world beyond our own. The mysterious sighting, a giant humanoid, doing push-ups on a distant hill. In recent years, the internet has become a fertile ground for the circulation of strange and unexplained phenomena, with TikTok emerging as a particularly popular platform for sharing such content. On May 5, 2023, a TikTok user by the name of Royal Kingrio posted a video that quickly gained traction across various social media platforms. The video, which appears to have been taken with a smartphone camera, shows what many have described as a humanoid giant performing push-ups on a distant hill, miles away from where the video was recorded. The footage, though somewhat grainy due to the distance and quality of the camera, has sparked intense debate and curiosity, leading to a flood of theories and discussions about the nature of the figure captured in the video. The video, a closer look. The video itself is just under a minute long, but it packs a lot of mystery into that short span of time. At first glance, the scene appears quite ordinary. Rolling hills, a cloudy sky, and the typical serene landscape one might expect in a remote area. However, as the camera zooms in, a strange figure becomes visible on one of the distant hills. The figure is massive, easily dwarfing any human that could be expected to be seen at that distance, and appears to be engaged in an activity that is both unusual and unsettling for a creature of its size: push-ups. While the exact proportions of the figure are difficult to determine, many viewers have estimated that the humanoid stands at least 20 to 30 feet tall, a size that is far beyond any known species of human or animal. The video shows the giant moving with a surprising level of agility, its movements eerily fluid and consistent, as if it is deliberately exercising. The sight of a giant humanoid doing push-ups in such an isolated and distant location is bizarre enough to have captured the imagination of millions who have viewed and shared the clip. Internet reactions and theories. As the video spread across TikTok and other social media platforms, it ignited a firestorm of speculation. Some users were quick to dismiss the video as a hoax, suggesting that the figure was either a cleverly manipulated CGI creation or a cleverly staged practical effect involving forced perspective. Others, however, were not so sure. The level of detail in the video, combined with the apparent physical interaction of the giant with its environment, led many to believe that there was something more to the sighting. Among the more serious discussions were those that delved into the possibility of the figure being an unknown species or even a cryptid, a creature whose existence is suggested but not confirmed by science. Theories ranged from the plausible to the outlandish, with some suggesting that the figure could be a surviving member of an ancient race of giants, while others speculated about extraterrestrial involvement. One particularly popular theory among cryptozoologists and conspiracy theorists is that the figure might be linked to the Nephilim, a race of giants mentioned in various ancient texts, including the Bible. According to some interpretations, the Nephilim were the offspring of fallen angels and human women, and were described as giants who once walked the earth. While this theory is highly speculative, it has found a receptive audience among those who believe in the existence of hidden or suppressed histories, historical accounts of giant humanoids. While the video posted by Royal Kingrio is one of the more recent and sensational sightings of a giant humanoid, it is by no means the first time that such creatures have been reported. Throughout history, there have been numerous accounts of giant humanoid figures, often described in newspapers, non-fiction books, and folklore, that bear striking similarities to the figure seen in the TikTok video. One of the earliest and most famous accounts of giant humanoids comes from the 16th century, when the explorer Ferdinand Magellan and his crew reportedly encountered a race of giants during their voyage around the world. According to Antonio Pigafetta, one of Magellan's chroniclers, the giants stood twice the height of an average European man and were extremely strong. These giants, known as the Patagonian giants, were said to inhabit the region of Patagonia in South America, though their existence has never been conclusively proven. In more recent times, there have been several reported sightings of giant humanoids across various parts of the world. In the 19th century, American newspapers occasionally published stories about giant skeletons being unearthed in different parts of the United States, particularly in the Midwest. These skeletons were often described as being much larger than those of normal humans, with some reports claiming that they belonged to individuals who stood over 10 feet tall. While many of these reports have been dismissed as fabrications or exaggerations, they have nonetheless contributed to the enduring myth of giant humanoids. In the 20th century, reports of giant humanoid sightings continued to surface, often in remote or inaccessible areas. In 1965, a team of explorers in the Himalayan region of Nepal claimed to have seen a large human-like figure walking along a distant ridge. The figure, which they estimated to be around 15 feet tall, was observed for several minutes before it disappeared into the mountains. Despite efforts to track the creature, no conclusive evidence was ever found. Another interesting account comes from the 1970s, when a group of hikers in the remote wilderness of British Columbia, Canada, reported encountering a giant humanoid figure covered in dark hair. The hikers described the creature as standing at least 12 feet tall and possessing incredible strength, as it effortlessly moved large boulders out of its way. The encounter left the hikers shaken, and their story was later featured in several books and documentaries about unexplained phenomena. In recent years, the rise of the internet has led to a surge in reported sightings of giant humanoids as people from around the world share their experiences and encounters online. Websites dedicated to cryptozoology and the paranormal are filled with stories of individuals who claim to have seen massive, human-like figures in remote locations. While the authenticity of these reports is often difficult to verify, they continue to capture the public's imagination and contribute to the growing body of lore surrounding giant humanoids. Conclusion: a modern mystery. The video posted by Arroyal Kingrio is just the latest chapter in a long history of sightings and stories about giant humanoids. Whether the figure captured in the video is a hoax, a misidentification, or something else entirely, it has sparked a renewed interest in the possibility that such beings might exist. As more people become aware of the sighting, the debate is likely to continue, with some seeking to debunk the video and others searching for evidence that could confirm the existence of giant humanoids. For now, the mystery remains unsolved, leaving us to wonder about what might be lurking on distant hills, far beyond the reach of our everyday experiences. Fresno Walker in Sweden. The video in question, posted by the TikTok user Enigmas Forbidden on October 31, 2023, has sparked significant intrigue and debate among cryptid enthusiasts and skeptics alike. The footage, captured in the stark, snowy landscape of Sweden, depicts a creature walking across a snow-covered road. This creature, towering over 12 feet tall, has drawn comparisons to the infamous Fresno Walker, a mysterious entity that has been the subject of numerous sightings and stories over the years. The phenomenon of the Fresno Walker. The Fresno Walker, often referred to as the Fresno Nightcrawler in some circles, first gained notoriety through a grainy security camera footage from Fresno, California in the late 2000s. The original video showed a strange, almost otherworldly being, characterized by its extremely long legs and lack of a discernible upper body, walking eerily across a suburban lawn in the dead of night. The creature's unique and unsettling appearance, essentially all legs with no visible torso or head, led to a flurry of speculation and a cascade of reported sightings across the globe. The Swedish encounter. The recent video from Sweden adds a new layer to the mystery surrounding these creatures. Unlike the original Fresno Walker, which was relatively short, perhaps standing at 4 feet tall, the creature in this Swedish footage is far larger, estimated at over 12 feet tall. Its long, spindly legs move in a slow, deliberate manner as it crosses the road, seemingly unbothered by its snowy surroundings. The sight of this massive, leggy figure lumbering through the snow has captivated viewers, many of whom are convinced that this is another genuine encounter with the elusive Fresno Walker. Expanding the sightings. While the Fresno Walker is most famously associated with the Fresno area, there have been reported sightings from other parts of the world. These sightings often share common characteristics. A tall, leg-dominated figure, often seen moving at night or in low-light conditions. Some reports suggest that the creatures are almost translucent, blending eerily into their surroundings, while others describe them as having a more solid, ghostly white appearance. In the years following the original Fresno video, similar beings were reported in various states across the US, including in areas as far-flung as Ohio and Kentucky. Outside the United States, reports have emerged from Poland, the Philippines, and now Sweden. Each new sighting seems to add to the creature's mythos, painting a picture of an entity that is both elusive and widespread. theories, and speculation. Speculation about the nature of the Fresno Walker abounds. Some believe the creature is a cryptid, an unknown species of animal that has yet to be discovered by science. Cryptozoologists have compared it to other mysterious creatures, such as the Mothman or the Jersey Devil, both of which have also been reported in various locations and with varying descriptions. Others propose that the Fresno Walker might be extraterrestrial in origin, citing the creature's bizarre anatomy and its seemingly otherworldly movements as evidence of its alien nature. Some UFO enthusiasts have drawn connections between Fresno Walker sightings and reports of unidentified flying objects in the same areas, suggesting that these creatures might be related to extraterrestrial visitors. There are also those who believe that the Fresno Walker is a spiritual or interdimensional being, existing in a plane of reality that intersects with our own. This theory is often supported by the creature's ghostly, almost ethereal appearance and the fact that it seems to defy the laws of physics as we understand them. The role of media and technology. The proliferation of smartphones and social media platforms like TikTok has undoubtedly played a significant role in the spread of Fresno Walker sightings. In the past, such encounters might have been dismissed as mere folklore or urban legends, but the ability to capture and share footage instantly has brought these mysterious creatures into the digital age. The viral nature of the internet means that any new footage, such as the Swedish video, can quickly gain attention, leading to renewed interest in the phenomenon. However, this also opens the door to skepticism, as the ease of editing and manipulating video footage has made it increasingly difficult to discern what is real and what is not. Historical context. The Fresno Walker, while a relatively recent addition to the world of cryptids, can be seen as part of a long tradition of strange and unexplained creatures reported throughout history. Tales of bizarre beings, often with strange proportions and unnatural movements, have been recorded in cultures around the world. From the stick men of Native American folklore to the long-legged spirits described in Japanese ghost stories, the Fresno Walker seems to be a modern manifestation of a much older archetype. Conclusion. As with many cryptids, the Fresno Walker exists in the murky space between reality and myth. The Swedish video has reignited interest in this bizarre creature, but whether it represents proof of the Fresno Walker's existence or simply another piece of the puzzle remains to be seen. What is clear is that the Fresno Walker continues to captivate the imagination, standing as a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown. The Fresno Walker sightings remind us that, even in our technologically advanced world, there are still mysteries that elude explanation. Whether the creature is a cryptid, an alien, or something else entirely, it is the sense of wonder and curiosity that keeps people searching for answers. As more sightings and videos emerge, the legend of the Fresno Walker will likely continue to grow, adding to the rich tapestry of cryptozoological lore. The Pterodactyl mystery, a modern encounter. In the digital age, where virtually anything can be shared and disseminated instantly, certain images and videos capture the imagination of the public like nothing else. On May 27, 2024, a post by the popular online content creator The Confessionals sent ripples through the internet community. The post featured a series of still pictures that purported to show a flying creature, which many believed to be a living pterodactyl. The images quickly went viral, sparking debates and discussions among enthusiasts of the paranormal, cryptozoologists, and skeptics alike. The notion of a pterodactyl, a prehistoric reptile, long believed to be extinct, still roaming the skies in modern times, is both thrilling and perplexing. Pterodactyls, or pterosaurs as they are scientifically known, were winged reptiles that lived millions of years ago during the late Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. These creatures were among the first vertebrates to achieve powered flight, with wingspans that could reach up to 30 feet in some species. The idea that one of these ancient creatures might still be alive today challenges our understanding of biology and the history of life on Earth. The viral post. The images shared by ethiconfessionals depicted a large winged creature soaring above a landscape that appeared to be a remote forested area. The creature's wings were leathery, reminiscent of a bat's, and it had a long, pointed beak with a crest on its head, features strikingly similar to those of a pterodactyl. The pictures were grainy and somewhat indistinct, but the creature's shape was unmistakable, leading many to believe that this was indeed photographic evidence of a living pterosaur. The post quickly gained traction, with thousands of comments and shares across various social media platforms. Some users were convinced that the images were genuine, citing the creature's anatomical features and the location as evidence that a pterodactyl had somehow survived the mass extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs. Others were more skeptical, suggesting that the images could have been doctored, or that the creature was a known species of bird or bat, misidentified as a pterodactyl. A history of pterodactyl sightings. While the images shared by ethiconfessionals are among the most recent and widely publicized, they are not the first purported sightings of pterodactyls in modern times. For centuries, reports of large flying reptiles have appeared in newspapers, books, and more recently, on the internet. These reports often describe creatures with wingspans far exceeding those of any known bird, with leathery wings and elongated beaks, characteristics that closely resemble the prehistoric pterosaurs. One of the earliest recorded pterodactyl sightings dates back to the late 19th century, when cowboys in the American Southwest allegedly shot and killed a large winged creature that they claimed resembled a pterosaur. According to the story, which was widely reported in local newspapers, the creature's body was enormous, with wings stretching out over several feet. Despite the sensational nature of the report, no physical evidence was ever produced, leading many to dismiss it as a tall tale or a case of mistaken identity. In 1944, during World War II, a U.S. Army pilot reportedly encountered a pterodactyl-like creature while flying over New Guinea. The pilot described the creature as having a wingspan of approximately 20 to 25 feet, with a long tail and a beak filled with sharp teeth. This sighting, often referred to as the Ropen encounter, has become one of the most famous pterosaur sightings, particularly among cryptozoologists who believe that the Ropen may be a surviving species of pterosaur. Throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, similar reports have continued to surface from various parts of the world. In 1976, several residents of a small town in Texas claimed to have seen a large bird-like creature with leathery wings flying overhead. The local newspaper ran a story on the sightings, dubbing the creature Big Bird. But like many other pterosaur reports, no conclusive evidence was ever found. More recently, in 2007, a man in the United Kingdom reported seeing a pterodactyl while driving through a rural area. The man described the creature as having a wingspan of around 12 feet, with a long pointed beak and a crest on its head. His account was later featured in a popular television documentary about modern-day monster sightings, further fueling public interest in the possibility of living pterosaurs. Analyzing the evidence. The images posted by the confessionals have reignited the debate over the existence of living pterodactyls. Cryptozoologists, who study creatures that are reported to exist but have not been proven by science, argue that the images could represent genuine evidence of a surviving pterosaur species. They point to the creature's anatomical features and the remote location as indicators that it could be a relic population of pterosaurs that has managed to survive in isolation. Skeptics, however, caution against jumping to conclusions. They argue that the images could easily be manipulated using photo editing software, or that the creature could be a known species misidentified due to the poor quality of the images. Some have suggested that the creature could be a large bird, such as a condor or an eagle, captured at an odd angle that makes it appear more reptilian. In addition to the photographic evidence, skeptics also point out the lack of physical evidence to support the existence of living pterosaurs. No bones, eggs, or nests have ever been found, and the fossil record indicates that pterosaurs went extinct around 66 million years ago, alongside the dinosaurs. For a population of pterosaurs to have survived unnoticed for so long, there would need to be a substantial, self-sustaining breeding population, which seems unlikely given the lack of any definitive evidence. The impact of modern mythology. The idea of living pterodactyls is a captivating one, and it has become a popular subject in modern mythology. The internet in particular has played a significant role in spreading stories and images of supposed pterosaur sightings, giving rise to a new generation of believers and enthusiasts. Whether or not these creatures truly exist, the fascination with them speaks to a broader human desire to believe in the unknown and the possibility that there are still mysteries left to discover in our world. As the debate continues, the images shared by the confessionals will likely remain a topic of interest and speculation. While it is impossible to say for certain whether these pictures represent genuine evidence of a living pterodactyl, they have undoubtedly captured the imagination of many and added to the enduring legend of these ancient winged reptiles. Ghost in the Room. On July 1, 2024, the video posted by Paranormal Investigator captivated the online community with a chilling exploration of an abandoned basement. The footage, a point-of-view film shot with nothing but a flashlight, takes viewers on a haunting journey through a space steeped in decay. The basement, appearing slightly dilapidated with paint peeling from the walls and ceiling, evokes an atmosphere of forgotten desolation, a perfect setting for an unsettling encounter. As the camera operator navigates the basement, the narrow beam of the flashlight flickers over the deteriorating surfaces, highlighting the textures of neglect. The ambience is thick with tension, every creak and distant sound amplifying the sense of dread. The dim light barely pierces the darkness, creating an eerie play of shadows that seem almost alive, shifting as if they might conceal something lurking just out of sight. As the camera pans around the space, revealing more of the basement's hidden corners, a ghostly pale face suddenly emerges from the blackness of a shadowy room. The apparition is only visible for a brief moment, but its impact is profound. The face, unnervingly lifelike yet ethereal, has eyes that shine with an unnatural light. The eyes blink slowly, almost deliberately, as if acknowledging the presence of the camera, before the face gradually fades back into the darkness, vanishing as silently as it appeared. This sighting is reminiscent of many ghostly encounters reported in basements and other dark, forgotten places. Over the years, numerous accounts of spectral apparitions have emerged from these shadowy environments, where the lack of light and human presence seem to stir something from the other side. In these empty spaces, the boundary between the living and the dead feels thinner, as if the very air is charged with the memories of those who once inhabited them. Newspaper articles from the early 20th century often featured stories of haunted basements, where residents reported hearing whispers, seeing shadowy figures, or feeling an inexplicable chill. These accounts, though sometimes dismissed as mere superstition, often described similar phenomena: pale faces appearing in the dark, eyes that seemed to glow with an inner light, and a pervasive sense of being watched. One particularly famous case from 1923, reported in the New York Times, involved a townhouse in Manhattan's Greenwich Village. The basement of the building was said to be haunted by the spirit of a young woman who had died under mysterious circumstances decades earlier. Tenants described seeing her face in the basement's darkest corners, her eyes glowing faintly before she disappeared. The building eventually gained notoriety as one of the most haunted places in New York City, attracting ghost hunters and curiosity seekers alike. Similarly, in non-fiction books and magazines dedicated to paranormal phenomena, basements are frequently mentioned as hotbeds of ghostly activity. In Ghosts of the Haunted Heartland, by Randy Russell, a chapter is devoted to haunted basements across the Midwest, detailing encounters with spirits that manifest as disembodied faces or shadowy figures. These entities are often described as having a strong connection to the places they haunt, as if they are bound to the physical structures that once housed their lives or their deaths. The internet, too, is rife with stories and videos of basement hauntings where amateur ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts share their experiences. Forums dedicated to the supernatural are filled with threads discussing sightings similar to the one captured by Paranormal Investigador. Users recount their brushes with the unknown in basements, describing the fear that comes with seeing a face emerge from the darkness, only to vanish without a trace. One of the most chilling accounts comes from a Reddit user who posted in the Our Ghosts subreddit. They described exploring the basement of an old farmhouse in rural Ohio when they saw a face appear in the shadows. The face was pale, with glowing eyes that blinked slowly before the apparition disappeared. The user was left shaken by the experience, noting that the basement had a history of strange occurrences, including unexplained cold spots and the sound of footsteps echoing in the empty space. Such stories are not limited to basements alone. Dark, abandoned locations of all kinds, old hospitals, schools, factories, are often the setting for ghostly encounters. The absence of light in these places seems to invite the presence of something otherworldly, as if the shadows themselves are alive with the spirits of the past. In many cases, these spirits appear to be tied to the locations, lingering in the places where they once lived, worked, or died. For example, the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky, one of the most famous haunted locations in the United States, has a long history of ghost sightings, particularly in its basement. Visitors have reported seeing ghostly figures in the dark, hearing disembodied voices, and feeling an oppressive atmosphere that suggests they are not alone. The basement, where much of the hospital's grim work was carried out, is considered one of the most active areas for paranormal activity. Similarly, the old Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia is notorious for its haunted history. The prison's dark, damp corridors, especially the basement, are said to be haunted by the spirits of former inmates. Visitors and staff have reported seeing shadowy figures, hearing unexplained noises, and even feeling as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. The basement, once used for solitary confinement, is particularly eerie, with many claiming to have seen ghostly faces in the shadows. The video by a paranormal investigator taps into this rich tradition of ghostly sightings in dark, abandoned places. The ghostly face, captured on camera with its blinking, shining eyes, adds to the long list of similar encounters reported throughout history. Whether seen as evidence of the supernatural or simply a trick of the light, such sightings continue to fascinate and terrify in equal measure, reminding us that there may be more to the darkness than we can ever truly understand.
Hi, it's Kelly. I haven't been down here in a really long time, like a month or two. After what happened, I couldn't come down here. So, but my family's come down here a lot, and so has my brother, and they say they've seen nothing, and my brother, I made him look through every single room and everywhere, and there's nothing here, and I need to finish this video, so I'm doing it. So, this is a turning board, and I'm going to... Mom, is that? Why is this door opening? Hello? Mom, is that? Why is this door opening? Hello?
Did you see it? Something was in the closet, right? Let's look at that part again.
Let's see. Camera can see it now, okay.
3 disturbances. In this video, posted by PG Stories G Official on TikTok on November 20th, 2023, viewers are presented with 3 chilling incidents of paranormal sightings and activities, all captured on camera. The video has quickly gained traction, drawing the attention of both skeptics and believers in the supernatural. The footage offers a haunting glimpse into the eerie and often unsettling experiences of those who have encountered the unknown. The first incident takes place in the basement of a young girl named Kelly's home. Kelly, who appears to be around 14 years old, is trying to record a dance video. She had previously mentioned a supernatural encounter, but at the time, her family dismissed her experience, insisting they had never seen anything unusual. This skepticism from her family gave Kelly the courage to return to the basement and resume her dance routine, hoping that her earlier encounter had been a figment of her imagination. However, as the video unfolds, it becomes clear that Kelly's fears were not unfounded. As Kelly performs her dance in front of a large mirror, the camera captures something unsettling. In the reflection, a spectral image of a ghostly figure appears behind her. The figure is faint but unmistakable, its ghostly form almost blending into the shadows of the dimly lit basement. Kelly, unaware at first, continues to dance, but then her eyes catch the eerie image in the mirror. Her expression shifts from one of concentration to sheer terror as she realizes what she is seeing. Trying to maintain her composure, Kelly's face contorts as she holds back tears, her body language betraying her overwhelming fear. She abruptly stops dancing and bolts for the door, desperately trying to escape the basement. The video captures her frantic attempts to open the door, which seems to be stuck. Her voice, trembling with fear, calls out for her mother as she struggles to escape the confines of the basement. The sheer panic in her voice is palpable, making it clear that Kelly is genuinely terrified by the encounter. The second incident in the video is equally unsettling, though it takes place in a completely different setting: a hospital. A hospital worker, identified as a nurse by her uniform, is seen going about her duties in what appears to be an empty hallway. Suddenly, her hair lifts as if being tugged upward by an unseen force. The movement is unnatural, as if invisible fingers have taken hold of her hair and are pulling it upwards. Startled, the nurse quickly slaps her hair down, as if to brush away whatever force is gripping it. The video captures the moment in stark detail, showing the nurse's confusion and alarm as she tries to make sense of what just happened. Although the incident seems to end as quickly as it began, the nurse's bewildered expression suggests that she knows something out of the ordinary has occurred, even if she cannot explain it. The third and final segment of the video brings the focus back to Kelly, who, despite her earlier terrifying experience, has returned to the basement to continue her dance routine. This time, the atmosphere is even more tense, as viewers are now aware that something is very wrong in this seemingly ordinary basement. As Kelly dances, the camera captures another ghostly presence, this time not in the mirror, but in the background of the shot. In the dim light of a room adjacent to the basement, a figure draped in what appears to be a white sheet can be seen. The figure moves slowly, almost methodically, as if it is either comprised of the sheet or holding it up while walking. Kelly's movements falter as she notices the figure, and once again, fear overtakes her. The video ends with Kelly visibly shaken, her dance routine forgotten as she stares at the spectral figure, unsure of what to do next. These three incidents have sparked significant discussion online, with many viewers sharing their own experiences with the paranormal. Stories of ghostly encounters are not uncommon, and the footage shared by EPGE Stories Official has reminded many of their own brush with the supernatural. Spectral sightings, particularly in homes, have been reported throughout history, often relayed in newspapers, non-fiction books, and magazines dedicated to the paranormal. For example, in the early 20th century, reports of ghostly apparitions in homes were a regular feature in local newspapers. One famous case involved a family in New England who claimed to see the image of a young woman dressed in a white gown wandering through their home at night. The apparition was said to be the spirit of a previous resident who had died tragically in the house. Despite numerous attempts to explain the sightings as hallucinations or tricks of the light, the family remained convinced that they were being visited by a ghost. Similarly, in the 1980s, a well-documented case of a haunted house in London became the subject of intense media coverage. The residents reported seeing shadowy figures moving through the house, often accompanied by cold spots and unexplained noises. The sightings were so frequent and disturbing that the family eventually moved out, leaving the house vacant for years. The story was later chronicled in several books and documentaries, cementing its place in the annals of paranormal lore. In more recent times, the internet has become a hub for sharing ghost stories and paranormal experiences. Websites and forums dedicated to the supernatural are filled with accounts of people seeing spectral figures in their homes. These stories often share common themes: ghostly apparitions appearing in mirrors, shadowy figures lurking in dark corners, and unexplained movements caught on camera. Many of these accounts are accompanied by videos and photos, much like the ones shared by EPGE Stories Official, adding a visual element that makes these experiences all the more convincing. In conclusion, the video posted by EEG Stories Official is more than just a collection of eerie incidents. It is a reminder of the enduring fascination with the paranormal that has persisted throughout history. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, the stories captured in the video resonate with a primal fear of the unknown, a fear that has been a part of human experience for centuries. As more people share their own ghostly encounters, it becomes clear that the line between the natural and the supernatural is often more blurred than we would like to admit.
Three videos showing alleged skinwalkers. WTF, dear?
By the garden of the willow tree and with me.
Nope.
How you doing? Oh, just some cruisers, man. That's crazy shit. It's crawling at me like it's goddamn. What's up, dude?
That ain't no buck.
I thought I seen a big buck or something. Wait, stop right there. What is that? Is that a buck? What is that? Dude, that's a... Wait a second. I think I see a...
3 videos of skinwalkers. On February 20th, 2023, TikTok user Thatlan4 posted a series of 3 chilling videos that allegedly depict encounters with skinwalkers, the shape-shifting entities from Navajo folklore. These videos quickly gained traction on social media, igniting discussions and debates over the authenticity of the footage and the terrifying possibility of skinwalkers being real. Skinwalkers are deeply rooted in Native American mythology, particularly within the Navajo culture, where they are feared and respected for their ability to assume the form of animals and even other humans. They are often depicted as malevolent beings who use their powers to harm others. The first video, The Twisted Deer. The first of the 3 videos features a seemingly ordinary scene, a deer running along a dirt road. However, the eerie atmosphere builds as a second deer emerges from a slope onto the road. This deer is immediately unsettling due to its head, which is twisted and cocked to the side in a manner that is unnatural and clearly abnormal. The disturbing visual of this deformed deer has led many to speculate that it could be a skinwalker in disguise, trying but failing to perfectly mimic the form of a deer. According to traditional Navajo beliefs, skinwalkers have the ability to transform into animals, but often leave behind subtle, unnerving details that betray their true nature. The twisted head of the deer in this video might be one such telltale sign, an indication that the creature is something far more sinister than a mere woodland animal. The second video, The Man in the Woods. The second video is perhaps even more disturbing. It begins with a man emerging from the woods, his behavior and appearance immediately raising alarm bells. The cameraman, who appears to be in the back of a pickup truck, calls out to the stranger, asking how he is doing. The stranger's response is unsettling. He barely manages to say the word good, as if speaking is an immense effort. There is something profoundly off about this man. His movements are unnatural, and his voice lacks the intonation and ease of a typical human response. When the cameraman hails him again, the man grunts in response, a sound that seems more animalistic than human. At this point, the man abandons any pretense of normalcy. He slinks down, hunches over, and begins crawling on all fours towards the cameraman. This behavior is a classic characteristic attributed to skinwalkers, who are often described as moving in a way that blurs the line between human and animal. The speed and fluidity with which the man moves is both terrifying and mesmerizing, as he gains momentum in his pursuit of the truck. Fortunately, the truck accelerates, leaving the skinwalker behind, but the encounter is enough to leave viewers with a lasting sense of dread. The third video, the pale creature. The final video in the series is perhaps the most ambiguous, yet no less frightening. It shows a pale, almost ghostly creature running towards the cameraman, who is once again inside a vehicle. The creature's appearance is vague, but its pallor and speed are enough to suggest that it is not human. The brief clip ends with the creature still in pursuit, leaving viewers with more questions than answers. This video taps into the widespread fear of the unknown, a fear that skinwalkers embody in their ability to appear human, yet exhibit behaviors and characteristics that are anything but. Skinwalkers in folklore and popular media. Skinwalkers have been a part of Navajo culture for centuries, often depicted as witches or sorcerers who have committed an unspeakable act, such as killing a close relative to gain their shape-shifting abilities. They are feared for their ability to mimic animals and humans, often using this power to cause harm or mischief. In Navajo belief, even speaking about skinwalkers can attract their attention, making them a taboo subject among many Native Americans. In modern times, skinwalkers have transcended their cultural origins to become a